everyone. Today on Wild Facts, we will discuss some of the animal's greatest flyers and gliders. First off, we have the Japanese rhinoceros beetle. It needs to find a mate in the dense rainforest. So, how does it do that? It's a pretty clumsy, slow creature, one that you wouldn't expect to fly. But it can do something that most birds can't do. It can fly, but in an unusual way. It can swivel its wings, and efficiently has 2 pairs of wings, because it has wing cases, which give it extra lift. And it swivels its wings so it can get extra thrust. And then it lands down, finds a mate, and finds food. Hummingbirds have a similar technique, just without the extra pair of wings. They can hover, go forward, backwards, side to side, upside down, to get to their sugary nectar food. That's where they get all their energy from. And they have to drink every 10 minutes because they have a lot of energy with that hovering. I'm telling you. Imagine if you could soar for miles and miles and miles and miles without getting tired. Well, that's exactly what the vultures in Africa do. Africa. Wherever it is. Oh, here's Africa. You see, the vultures do that by, vultures will eat carrion, right? Especially wildebeest carrion. But there's one problem. Wildebeest migrate. So how does the vulture keep up on flying without getting tired? The way they do it is keeping in mind that air is always in motion. You see, when the warm morning sun warms up the canyon, then warm air goes up the canyon walls and zoom, it makes lots of air motion, lifting the vultures up. Then it dives down 1 meter and then hits a spot where it's really hot. That's where more warm air is rising. These are columns of warm air are known as thermals, also known as sky's elevators. They go up, they go down, they go up and down, and they can soar for this for miles until they get hungry. Then they go down, 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 and get to their carrion meal. Next up, we will talk about something that doesn't exactly scavenge, but finds a sort of trickier way on getting their food. They steal it. And this is what the magnificent frigate bird does. It doesn't use its amazing skills to hunt or track, but to steal. What it does is that it finds it doesn't have none at all, waterproof feathers. And that's a problem when you only eat fish and squid. And you're a seabird. So how do you get fish and squid without, getting to the water? Then you have to steal it. Because it'll drown if it gets too deep in the water, and that's not good. It won't be able to get back if it gets too deep in the water. So it tracks other birds that are able to get to the water and steal fish. There's this really famous fight that's between the red-billed tropic bird and the frigate bird. So yeah, and what the frigate bird does is that it puts the red-billed tropic bird under some pressure. The red-billed tropic bird earned its fish really hardly, so it's going to be hard for the frigate bird to convince them. But they can outmaneuver any other seabird because of their long wings, and that makes them excellent in an airborne dogfight. So the red-billed tropic bird will eventually give up its fish after a lot of convincing and pressure. But there are those flyers that will actually hunt for their food. But not with, yes, with agility, but in a more tight spaces. So what I'm talking about is the sparrowhawk. They live in gardens or forests with many obstacles, but any mature male would know his territory well and can find the perfect sneaky path to catch up on his prey. But its prey flocks, and its prey, small sparrow-sized birds. That's how it got its name. So it's got to be quick. In fact, it can go through an American garden in less than 4 seconds by knowing its territory. It uses its short, round wings to fly through the garden, but it stays low to the ground, hugging it. It hugs the ground to create a nice big air cushion for it to ride to the bird, and that's how it picks up speed. But how does it get speed at all? With its long legs push off the branch. Then, like I said, in 4 seconds, a bird disappears. Probably the last thing it sees is a big, scary, well, not a big, a little scary hawk. In fact, that hawk is about the size of big enough to fit in your pocket. Next, we're going to talk about gliders, such as the flying squirrel. It's got fur-covered wings to help it glide from its main predator, the great horned owl, and its tail. It keeps it balanced and also gives it the ability to steer. It can go at 19 miles an hour, but when it needs to land on a solid wooden object, a tree, then that's going to be hard. But luckily, it can use its skin flaps as a parachute to slow down. Now, most gliders use gravity to power them, which means that they'll always meet Earth, or a tree, in this case and the other case. And that's, when you think of flying, you gotta feel sorry for snakes because, really, the snakes in Borneo just watch all the other creatures take to the skies. Flying frogs, flying lizards. But lizards can extend their ribs and pop out wings so they can glide. Frogs have these big parachute-like toes, but you gotta feel sorry for a snake. How does it do it? First of all, it can bridge gaps with its long body, but giant gaps that can be like 20 meters long, it can't bridge. So, it goes down in a J shape for liftoff. Then, it throws forward its ribs, sort of like the flying lizard, known as the Draco. But no, because it doesn't have wings in between its ribs, but literally curves its body into an aerofoil shape. Then, it leaps, goes down and down and down and down, and then suddenly, it goes forward, swoops up, and touchdown. So those are some really, really, really wild facts from Wild Facts.